Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's 6 p.m. in the UK, which means it's time for Evening Brews. Good evening, everyone. It's 2.5 days, or two days almost now, till transfer deadline day, and the window finally shuts. Spurs social medias are going nuts. Everyone is arguing whether it's pro or con, whatever it may be. So what better time to sit back for an hour, chill, and just have a general Spurs chat. Joining me today is a debutant. We love seeing new people come on, and I'm going to paste his channel in the links. If you do, I'll put it at the end as well. If you do like what you hear from Nige, please do go give his channel a subscribe. Brand new channel. Nige, how are you, buddy?
Good, mate. Thank you very much for having me on. And I love that music at the start. I'm just like this.
That's our very own Brian Ireland, who does all the music in the background. So he'll be very happy to have heard that. So first bit of housekeeping, everyone. Let's just say hello to everyone in the chat. Psycho Fox is always one of the first ones. So I got your email, Simon. I will respond to it this week or next week. It's just going to be mad this week. Channel member, welcome to the show. Ring Ketik, another channel member, welcome to the show. Another channel member in Alex Gomez, welcome, buddy. Tweaky, welcome to the show. Another channel member. Just a harmless potato. Big up, buddy. Andrew Gregory, another channel member. And I sent him a private message. But everyone, Andrew Gregory, who is a superb supporter of this channel and many other channels, always in the chat, always having a laugh. It was his birthday over the weekend, everyone. So give Mr. Gregory a very belated happy birthday. John Reacher, once upon a rhyme, big up to you. Matty, big up channel member. The Kaufman is in the house. Colin Crossamano is in the house. Channel member Mark Cousins is in the house. So is channel member Ethan Bates and channel member my brother Sean Slater. Good evening, Matheson, big up to you. Max and Lion, big up to you, channel member. Ryan McFarlane, another channel member. Shan Tam, another channel member. Paul Clark, big up to you. Terry Wright, my brother, I hope you're good and well. Just a girl who loves Spurs. Kate, good evening to you, darling. Just a harmless potato, I'm sure I've said hello to. Fran, my darling, big up to you. Joseph, big up to you. Paul Russell, big up. David, big up. And there we go. So, right, the first stuff we're going to talk about, just very briefly, because I didn't want to spend long on this. Obviously, Spurs social media. Andy Lloyd, I've just got to say a big up to, and Peter, as always, in Australia. And there's more people. Kate has joined, and Anurag from India has joined. So, as we were saying, Spurs Twitter has gone absolutely nuclear today, whether it's whatever way you stand, because obviously Liverpool have gone and signed Chiesa from Liverpool, from Juventus. It's a done deal. He's a Liverpool player. And Spurs Twitter, on both sides of pro and con for the player, have gone absolutely batshit crazy. Now, for me, Nige, him coming in before Werner, perfect sense, love it, brilliant. Right here, right now, we have so many wingers and so many other areas that need strengthening. I'm not fussed by this. One simple bit. Yes, he could turn out to be an absolute steal if he's fit. I'm not that bothered about it. What about you and people in the chat?
I'm livid. I think we should be. I think we should have been all over this. I think it's a typical Levy signing. We could pick him up for 10 million. Yep. If he's no good, we don't lose any money on him, really, because we could probably sell him back to Italy for 10 million. If he's brilliant, in 2 years' time, we could sell him for 50, 60 million. I think it's a no-brainer for the money. I understand if it's 30, 40 million, but for 10 million, I would have taken him.
Well, this is the thing. I understand that part of the argument. The one thing Liverpool have got is they're stacked, and Liverpool do this very, very well. They will rotate the players. He will come in and it allows Salah to have a rest, or Gapco, or whoever it may be. Tottenham Hotspur will run him into the ground and overplay him and overplay him and overplay him, which will probably heighten his injuries. And I just think, like I said, if we had brought him in instead of Werner, completely for it, completely with it, for me, he's not the player he was 2 years ago. But I just think, if I said to you right now, and I'm going to ask this question to everyone in the chat, if I said to you right now, you can have Federico Chiesa, or you get a quality left back or left centre back, which one would you have gone for?
I saw you ask this on Twitter, and I did say that I would have a quality left back or centre back. But why can't we have both?
There is a reason. There is a reason we can't have both. I'll give you a clue. 4 letters, surname, someone I don't like very much. I don't know if I've given enough clues there, but this is where we are. If you look at it, and this is why I'm trying to look at things from a different perspective. As much as first of all, we don't sign established players anymore. We don't do it. We do not go, right, he's great or could be great if he gets back. Bang, he could do a job. We go get the youngsters and hope they all come good. But if you look at it right now, none of the wingers that we currently have, the part I don't disagree with is he would have been an upgrade on all of them. Barring Sonny, would have been an upgrade on all of them. But do you see a single one of our wingers, whether you like them or not, leaving Tottenham Hotspur in the next 2.5 days?
No, I'm still hopeful. Of maybe one leaving, but I don't think he will.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people I understand the 10 million, I think, is what's done it. And the fact that Liverpool have wrapped this up very, very quickly, and we were linked to be with him all summer when it was 25 mil. I just think, for me, again, and I understand the frustration. And am I pissed off that we didn't take a punt of a player of that quality? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe I am. But if I look at it realistically, if we're going to get a left centre back in, or a left back, or both, or a midfielder, those to me are much more important holes to fill than another winger that may or may not have a great season or not. So I'm really, there's a few people going, if only Richie, God knows what's going on with him. This is welcome to the Spurs clusterfuck of the next 2.5 days. But now let's get into the stuff that we were going to talk about. First one is obviously big news about Will Lankshear. Now we're going to get onto something else that ties him in as well in the next one. But Will Lankshear is set to stay with Tottenham's first team this season, despite loan interest from multiple clubs in the Championship and abroad. The 19-year-old striker has impressed Ange Priority and his coaching staff during the pre-season. Nige, where are you with Lankshear staying and how he's been looked at?
It's great if we are going to give him game time. Absolutely no point if he's not going to get any game time. I think if that's the case, he would have been a lot better going out on loan, because I don't think playing for the under-21s is going to, move him on. So, yes, great. If he's going to get game time, I'm all over it. But if we're not going to play him, if he's going to play the odd game here and now, I would have much rather see him go out on loan personally. Yeah,
this is where, first of all, I think we could see from pre-season that he was ahead of Scarlett. He was ahead of Elise, and we've seen that because they've both gone out on loan. I think this has got a lot to do with homegrown as well, and what may be incoming. And I think it was clear to see as well in every pre-season friendly, he was the first striker that came on. It was like, right, you're going to get 20, 25 minutes. The other two, you're going to get the other 22, whatever minutes. It's clear to see that he is now the third choice, or out of the youth, he is the number one choice. Yeah. I think we've got to look where he's going to play. I think you're mainly going to be looking at cup games, aren't you? You're mainly looking at cup games where he's going to be and where he's going to play. I actually think, and I will say Brian Ireland is in the house. It's very rare to see him in the house. I don't know, Ireland, if you heard, you got a wonderful compliment about the music at the beginning, but it's always good to see you in here, brother. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that saying he has a lot of the attributes, especially the Hearts goal, that was very, very Harry Kane-esque. Now, obviously, that is delusion and way too far putting, but he's got something. Would you say you reckon he is a star of the future for us?
I definitely think he's got something. Watching him in the friendlies, he looks strong. He looks big. He definitely knows where the net is. And yeah, I mean, I'm chuffed with him staying. Like I say, if he's going to get game time, the only problem for me is if he plays cup games, then as Spurs fans, then we can't complain. Because I would think he's probably not the only one going to be playing cup games. If we go out of these cups, you know, I don't mind dropping one or two in the first team for a cup, but I don't want to see wholesale changes.
So yeah, I mean, sorry, go on, Nige.
It's a tough one. I mean, I'd like to see him in the Premier League, but
well, you say that. Now, this is the thing, and I will say people are already putting them in until. If you want your question answered at the end of the stream, get them in whilst we are talking, because as soon as I go to the questions, I have to go to a different part of the studio, so I can't see the other comments coming in. You can put your questions in 3 ways. You can either put at TOT-question or Q-, or if you're in the position and you want us to talk about your question or your thoughts immediately, you can always send in a super chat, but you are under absolutely no obligation to do so whatsoever. Now, talking about first team football, obviously this came out today. Now, I want to talk about this. We're going to talk about this quite a bit. Obviously, the first part of this tweet from the Tottenham Hotspur Express, or the Spurs Express, was no sign of Solanke in this latest round of training videos, which was shortly followed with also did not see Van der Ven or Richarlison in this video. And then once again, obviously, things have gone nuts. Now, if you look at it, the bit I'll get on first, and I'm going to let you go, Nige. You were saying you'd like to see him get Premiership minutes. If all this is right, and it was because of injuries, it could be that also these are filmed a day before or 2 days before it's not live from today. So they could have been in the gym. They could have been on media work. They could have been doing a host of things at the training ground. They just weren't there when that video was recorded. That's one way of looking at it. The other way to look at it could be, oh crap, panic stations. And we're in a bit of trouble. Now, where I was going with this is, you were saying you'd like to see him get first team football. If this is correct, as in injury-wise, and only talking if Solanke number 1, injured, Richarlison number 2, injured, Lankshear number 3, injured, and then it's playing Kulusevski in the false 9 and moving him out of the position he's been doing. I mean, where are you with this and people in the chat?
It's typical Spurs. We don't seem to get lucky with injuries. When we get them, we tend to get them in one position. If it's true, and Richarlison's always injured, isn't he? I don't think he's ever really fit.
Correct.
And if he's still injured, and if Solanke's still out, obviously Lankshear's still out, then it's going to be Kulu in the false 9. And I'm okay with that for the time being. You know, I'd probably rather Kulu as a false 9 than Richarlison up front, to be fair. I'm not a fan of Richarlison at all.
Let me try and find the video, because I've seen people talk. I saw Andy Lloyd saying about could be doing and it could be exactly that. It could be light work in the gym. It could be many things. I'm just trying to find I'll try and find the tweet, but there's one of my friends, Jay, put a photo out of Van der Ven in the first half badly placing his leg somewhere. It doesn't look, again, it's a still image, so it could be magnified, it could be nothing, but the way his leg looks in this photo doesn't look good. And that was in the first half, and looks like and again, this is all ifs, it could have been like what happened with Van der Ven with his hamstring at Villa, and we brought him out. Now, listen, what we can say about it is that injury or footage was from the first half. He then ran the full length of the pitch in the second half. Adrenaline is a wonderful thing. It could be a host of things. Now, for me, I've been saying for ages that Van der Ven is the most key player in our team. I don't know if other people think that, or Nige, I'll come to you with this as well. One injury to him is an absolute, for me, is massive. It's at the moment with what we got, irreplaceable to do what he does. Yes, you can say Dragusin, he hasn't got the speed, he hasn't got the pace. It could be like Nige, it could be literally. Normally, what I would say, and what has led me to be a little bit more concerned, is when things like this happen during the summer with the transfer speculation, an Ali Gold, a Paul O'Keefe, or someone has come out and said, right, just to let you guys know, this is not true. Happened with Lankshear, actually, when we said we might be loaning him out. Silence from this club always concerns me. Now, like I said, I think they were doing other things. But with two, and I think what also has set petrol on this fire is, again, that there is 2.5 days left of this window. And this could be a bit of a problem. I mean, Nige, where are you with it, especially with the Van der Ven part?
I think our whole system relies on Van der Ven.
Yeah.
I'm with you. If Van der Ven's out, the whole system is flawed. Even bringing Dragusin in, he's not got the pace. He's not slow, but he's not, obviously, no one's as quick as Van der Ven. But what you have is, because Dragusin's right-footed, when the ball comes to him, he's always turning to the right to pass. So the left is almost like a waste of time. So, yeah, it's massive. If Van der Ven is out for any length of time, it really will affect the way we play. Could it be, I mean, I'm probably putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 7,000, but could it be ploy maybe? Van der Ven's not out, come on board, let's buy a centre-back. Probably not, but...
All I will say is when we've tried this tactic before, if we look at the evidence, it hasn't exactly worked out well, has it? And talking of this, and you look at this, Richarlison, who I still think is leaving. I've given up on Saudi. I was very, very strong all summer. He's going Saudi. His future has been thrown in the air again. By what I said, he may want to stay, but the club will listen to offers. It has been solely the thing that Spurs have said and that I've heard is it is completely down to his unreliability of fitness. Now, he came on against Leicester. I can't remember. Did he come on against Everton as well? I can't remember if he did. Yes, Ireland, very much so.
I think he did, yeah. But I think he did. But you actually posted something, I think it was yesterday or the day before, a tweet by somebody saying that obviously Spurs have finished their business. They're not looking at anyone else unless a big name leaves, which it kind of said at the bottom. Yeah. And I was thinking then, could that be Richarlison? That's the only player I think it could be.
Yeah, I still think, listen, I don't even think, and I'll say it now, I wouldn't rule out a last-minute loan move to Everton. Keep your eye, I wouldn't rule it out. If Spurs can get him out, because and look, he hasn't been back to full fitness. If you look at it during his whole Spurs career, he's been plagued by injury, and it's not what Spurs want. I think there's a good chance something still goes on with him. I really do. I mean, yes or no, people in the chat, and we got 122, and you, Nige. Let's just say the window's closing. Is Richarlison still a Tottenham Hotspur player?
I'm saying yes at the moment, but if no, then I think we could be looking at your man coming in, Jonathan David, couldn't we?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm very quiet with him, but
everything has gone quiet. Everything has gone quiet. So we've got a few people saying yes to he will be. Yeah, I wish, Mark. Let's swap him with Bayern with Harry Kane. There's a lot of people saying yes, and you know what? We'll wait and see. I still think. Oh, Gary, big up to Gary, a good friend of mine. Big up to you, sir. I've still got the feeling that there's something going to happen. Someone's going to test the waters with Richarlison, and we'll see. Now, obviously, that's going to have to bring Spurs into action. There's a lot. There's Gio Lo Celso. There's Reguilon. But when people say a big name, like you alluded to, like a big name player that's going to generate funds and then say, go out and spend it, I can only see it being Richarlison, like you said. But we'll come on to the next one because it alludes on to what Van der Ven and the injury and this concern. And like I said, it could be like training work, it could be many things. But this was actually yesterday, and I didn't get to see this before we did Evening Brews. And this is apparently from Ange saying, a defender is an absolute priority for Tottenham Hotspur this week. Postecoglou has made it clear he does not want another injury to Van der Ven to derail the season again. He ideally wants a left footer that can also cover at left back, but understands options are limited this late in the window. Now, what I will say about this is I don't like this late in the window. This should have been left-sided, should have been some kind of priority to me. And I know at the beginning of the window we heard they said they're going to come back to this towards the end, which technically they're doing. But as always, it's leaving a very key area for me, the most important area now, even above midfield. Because if you look at it, Ben Davies is there to be cover. Can he play the Van der Ven game? No one, let's face it, not a lot of people have got the speed at left centre-back of him. But is he someone that can come in and regularly cover a Van der Ven when we play this way? Because Ange does not change. No, in my opinion. If Destiny, same thing. Again, we've got the same issue. I mean, what do you think on that story and what Ange has just said or is quoted as saying, Nige?
Yeah, absolutely. I think defence is our biggest issue without any shadow of a doubt. We have not done anything in defence the whole window. So, the only player we've got this year that's different is Spence. And let's be honest, if Genoa had offered the right money, he wouldn't be it. So, yeah, we've not improved the defence at all. So massive. We have to get a left-sided centre-half in. This might sound crazy, I'd rather Davis there than Dragushin just because Davis is left-footed.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is the thing. I've gone back and forth with this, and we'll get the chat involved, all 126 of you, if you can. I put a poll out. I think you went on this yesterday as well. And I said, what is more important to you? A left back that can cover Van der Ven or be competition, whatever buzzword you want to use, that can also play left back, or a left back that could be strong cover / competition / buzzword for Destiny that could also play left centre back. So what was more important to you, the left back that could play left centre back or the left centre back that could play left back?
Well, they're kind of the same, I guess. But the left centre back, firstly, we have to get another centre back in. Because we have got cover at left back. We can put Spence out. We can play Davis there if we have to. And Van der Ven can cover it out if need be. What we haven't got is really good cover for Van der Ven if he's out of centre half. So, yeah, 100%. We need a left centre back and not another right centre back. It has to be left-footed.
Well, it's the thing. There's one name that keeps coming up. One name, and I'm going to bring it up. Where was it? Well, first of all, Colin Crossamano was saying Lloyd Kelly would have been perfect for Levy, cost nothing. The way we bought youth, it's not saying he would have been the quality needed or go onto it, but fair play this season would have been an issue. But where is it? Who said it? I think it was Sean Slater. Where is Shawnee Boy? Where I just saw it, there it was. This is the dream. I've wanted him since the season we signed Kulusevski and Bentancur. I think this guy is such a special player. For what he can do on both, but I cannot for that. He would be, if we announce bang, he's here. Incredible job by the club if they manage to do this. If they manage to, but I think this is an absolute pipe dream, and he's not going to leave Bayer Leverkusen where he's not getting as many first team minutes to come to Tottenham to have the same thing. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I can't see it. It would be almost like the Van der Vaart kind of signing. If we sign Hincapié, for me, he's brilliant. But yeah, he's not going to come. But then I don't want to hear all this come to play backup. I want my players to be challenging each other and pushing each other. So buy him and challenge for your place. But I'd be surprised.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you're looking at a left back as well, we spoke about Canadian. I know he's out of favour at Bayern Munich. One Alphonso Davies. But then you're again. This is pipe dreaming as well when I'm thinking left backs that could come in and really push Destiny on, because I just think right now we've got to the point where this has to be addressed. It has to be addressed. If you look at it, we're going into, technically, if the window shuts now and we haven't bought in a defender or a left-sided defender of either position or that can play both, we're now in 4 competitions with 3 centre-backs. And Ben Davies, 4 with Ben Davies. Let's say, and I don't mean this as a discredit to Ben Davies, let's say 3.5, because he can play both positions. But he is not, you would say Dragusin, or Dragushin, as he has to be called, Romero, Van der Ven are the 3 key established top draw first choice. And then you've got Ben Davies. And then the worrying thing that people forget with this is we keep talking about what if Van der Ven gets injured, what if Destiny gets injured. If we lose Romero at any point, yes, Dragusin comes in, but then if we lose Van der Ven, like what happened last season, it's Dragusin and Ben Davies. And that's not a pretty sight for me. And if you look at it, even if we go out of Europe, Nige, at the first chance of going out, and we go out of the cup games in both things in the first rounds, that's 10 games, extra games last season. 7 if you take away we played 3 cup games with 3 established first choice central defenders. I just don't know another team that does that.
No. I mean, last season we played 1 game a week and we struggled with 1 game a week with the squad that we have.
Yep.
This season we have got rid of, I think, when Reguilon and Lo Celso go, we would have sold or loaned 16 players.
Yep.
And brought in 4 because one of them isn't coming until January. So that's 12 players we've lost. Yet we've got the Europa League and obviously the two home cups to play.
Yeah.
So I think we're weaker now than we were last season. We might have a few better players, a few better younger players, but I think we're actually in a weaker position. And you're right, if Van der Ven and Romero are out together, which is likely, it happened last season, like you say, we are left with Dragusin and Davis, and then we've got no centre-halves on the bench.
Correct. I mean,
when one of them gets injured in the game, we're totally screwed.
I mean, Terry's right. There's a couple of names. Listen, if we look at it, I'm a huge fan of Phillips. Huge fan of Phillips. I think he's Tottenham captain in the next 4 years or whatever it may be. That's how highly I rate this guy. There's also Alfie Dorrington. There's also Vuskovic coming in the seat. So there are defenders coming off the conveyor belt from the Spurs youth. But whether with them, Phillips maybe not so much. He'll come in next season. And I think he plays a big part or is a part of the squad. I don't know. I mean, there's loads of people saying Shabalala, who we went for last minute of the window after we signed Johnson. And now, obviously, this name is coming out again. I've even seen people in the comments as well, and Nige as well. When it comes to a left back, I have heard people now obviously going for Chelsea, and the name Ben Chilwell has come up. Now, I think Ben Chilwell, when fit, is a wonderful footballer, a wonderful left back. But again, astronomical wages at Chelsea. Are we? I mean, first of all, would people take Chilwell? Would you take Ben if it came out that would work tomorrow or Friday? This is a thing, guys. This is why we've got to think clever. Maybe even a loan. Sure, but Ben Chilwell, if it was available at Tottenham and he came in, where would you sit?
Chilwell, I'd be okay with it. It wouldn't be one that would get me off my seat. He's a good player when fit, like you say, but he's rarely fit. It's not one that I get excited about. I really think we are going to go back in for Kyle Walker-Peters. I've just got a feeling.
Again, can Kyle Walker-Peters? I mean, I know he played predominantly and always on the right. I know we've got Spence that then can go to the left. And Kyle Walker-Peters play on the left?
played quite a bit on the left of Southampton, hasn't he? I
Okay,
mean,
I haven't
personally,
watched a lot of Southampton, to be
I'm
fair.
not a massive fan, but he ticks all the boxes. The homegrown, obviously, was home trained as well, wasn't he? So I think he ticks all the boxes, and I think if we get him at a reasonable price, I think it wouldn't surprise me. Let's put it that way. If we went in for him.
Oh, there you go. Well, before we change subjects again, we just got a couple of. First of all, a member chat from Michael Heung-min. Thank you, Michael, for your continued support of the channel. Anyone that is a member, by the way, you get one of these a month. It's like a super chat. You'll see it will say leave membership message. It's one of the perks that you do get with the membership. Richie risks being the next Dembele. Lo Celso will get a loan. Reguilon may leave with a Dele Alli deal like with add-ons galore. COYS, where are you on that, Nige?
I'd be upset if Lo Celso went on loan. I think we need to get some money for him. Is he in the last 18 months?
Yep.
Of his contract?
So, yeah.
We need to sell him. I really like Lo Celso, but he's just never settled. So we need to get some money, even if it's 10 million. And the same with Reggie. If we can get 10 million for him, that'd be brilliant.
Richie, listen, when we signed him, Simeon from We Are Tottenham TV brainwashed me to want him over Rafinha when I was more Rafinha. He showed this season when fit he can do something in the system, but you can't depend on that. You cannot depend on it. So I that's the biggest thing I have with Richie. Lo Celso, I completely agree with you. Completely has to get money for. Spurs have done a wonderful job clearing that deadwood this season. They have done a wonderful job. And one of the things that really impressed me with it were there are a few players there that could have had the year extension triggered so they could try and get a fee for them. And they said, nope, we're just cutting ties. Whether that was Lange, Ange, whoever, they did it. Lo Celso can't be another one. And Reggie. It will just be, I think Lo Celso was around 40 million. And Reggie was around 25, 30 million. That's 70 million pounds worth of talent that technically could be leaving for nothing. Now, well, if we get them out, I will be happy. But again, with Tottenham, I'm getting concerned that right now we are sitting on them waiting to go before we move for incomings, when for me, it should always be the other way around. And say the truth, Reguilon, I just want him out. When he came and under Jose, he was brilliant. Then after that COVID day out with the other Spanish and Argentinians, he was woeful. And I think the most exciting thing I saw him do was that volley behind volley own goal against Aston Villa, and hasn't worked for any other manager and doesn't seem in the plan. So he just needs to be gone. And before we get back into the Davies, we'll handle it. No worries, Brian, about Ben Davies being covered. Yeah, Max, I thank God you put the laughing emoji there, because listen, what I will say about Ben Davies, I don't know how you feel about it as well, Nige, is when we've spoken about Deadwood, bad eggs, whatever, I wouldn't, especially the bad eggs part, I wouldn't put Ben Davies in it at all. He is a player that's been there for 10 years. He's not, don't get me wrong, he is nowhere near the quality we need right now, and he has passed his best. And if he doesn't go in the next 2 days, he's going in the summer. I've not once said, I wouldn't even call him, when I call him Deadwood, I don't know. He's there that we need better, but he's always there and will try to do his best, which isn't what I'm saying. Oh, good, we have players that try their best. I just think Ben Davies is going to be, I mean, where are you with Ben Davies?
I think Davies has been an absolute model pro for Tottenham. He's never put foot out of line off the pitch. He always tries his hardest on the pitch, and I know he's not good enough now, but there was a time when he was good enough.
Yep.
And age, like a lot of players, when you get older, there's better players coming above you, and it is his time to leave. But like you said, he is the last of the Deadwood that I would want gone, because you can always rely on him.
Okay, I've got a bit of breaking news. or it may not have been breaking, but it was broken. Yeah, 5 minutes ago, and it's been broken from the one and only Fabrizio Romano, and it's where I said I think it went up all along. Real Betis are pushing to sign Gio Lo Celso as a top target for midfield since June. Lo Celso expected to leave Spurs in the final days after negotiations can now start as Nabil Fekir is on his way out. Qatari Saud Al Jazeera are advancing in talks for Fekir. So it looks like Gio is on his way out. So that's another player gone. There's nothing about the fee. There's nothing about if it's a loan with an obligation or option. But it looks like there is another outgoing, which we need to hopefully. I mean, I can't even say. Hopefully, this going out will spring Spurs into life, because Spurs seem to react once one's out. They start moving. I mean, where are you with that news, Nige?
It's good news. Like we just said, Lo Celso needs to leave. Hopefully, we'll get some money for him, and it won't be a loan. But it is what it is. If he goes, he's off the books. And like you say, we might actually move for a player now. We might have a few things ready to go, and we're just waiting for these players to leave before we set them on the way and get the wheels in motion. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, the other bit of news, obviously, that broke stays. Bentancur's been banned for 4 Uruguay games. Nothing wide. So no, when it comes to Spurs being ordered down, at least that has been avoided. But we'll get on to the next subject. Before I do the next subject, actually, halftime team talk, people. There's 160 of you in here. Guys, it's the only time we will during the show. If you do get an opportunity, apart from the end, and you are enjoying the content, please smash the like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We are growing as a channel. We are growing as a community, and we are trying to we will be bringing loads of new content your way, hopefully getting loads of new people on like Nige as well, so new people can come on, and we really are trying to do things differently compared to just shouting and screaming and bitching and moaning and I'm talking about me, like I always used to do. I'm not talking about anyone else. I used to have every show just bitching and moaning about one man and one man only, and I will do that when I feel it's necessary, and I will call for him and call him out when needed. But there's other things to talk about. And also, if you want to see more of Nige, I've just dropped his link in the chat once again. But now, back to the show. Now, people of my age and a little bit older, maybe even a little bit younger, now we have some light-hearted Spurs talk before we take on questions. If people were old enough to see us win the FA Cup, the first team to ever win it 8 times, there will be a player very well known to people, and it shows how we're getting. Paul Allen, who at the time was one, and still to this day, I think was highly underrated at Tottenham Hotspur, has just turned 62 years old, playing 105. His legacy number 551, but 292 games in the league. So weird seeing it not say Premier League. This was Division 1. 27 FA Cup appearances, 44 League Cup appearances, 7 European fixtures, 370 appearances from the club. And I thought he was such a hard worker, very, very underrated. And if memory serves me correctly, my very first Spurs game live at the Lane was a 4-0 win at home to Tranmere in the Simod Cup or Rumbelows or whatever, Littlewoods, whatever it was called then. He scored the first goal I ever saw live at the Lane. So I've always got a soft spot for him. But what a workhorse and underrated player he was.
Yeah, top player, tenacious, tough in the tackle. Scored goals as well. He got quite a few goals for Spurs, and obviously lived in the shadow of his cousin a little bit, but top player.
I mean, people remember. I mean, one of the, apart from being part of that FA Cup team, I remember him scoring, which he'll always go down for, is scoring. a 1-0 winner in a North London derby. He did actually like a goal against Arsenal. I mean, many people, showing our age now, I mean, a lot of people might not even remember him. And it's why such great Twitter accounts, like I've spoken about before, every Spurs goal is going through every single goal and you get to see it. But Paul Allen, people that were there and got to see Paul Allen, when we're saying we need a midfield workhorse, all right, Paul Allen played mainly out wide. This guy did not stop running for the club and is in a very, very elite club in our recent history that he's actually got a trophy. And not only a trophy, Nige, the FA Cup that was our bloody trophy before it became the Filth.
Yeah, when we used to win things like pretty much every couple of years. And he just never seemed to get injured either. He'd always play. And I don't know whether that was just teams back in the 80s and the 90s, but players didn't get injured as much, did they? They just played and played.
Mate, literally, there was only 2 subs. I think at the time, literally, you could make 2 subs. But he was he is exactly, and we all know the Allen dynasty that we've got with Les, Clive, him. I think Bradley Allen, who didn't play for us, but did some work alongside Spurs. But moving on from a player that obviously people of a certain age will only remember. Moving on to a player that no matter what age you are, you're obviously going to know this player. Bit of Spurs history. 9 years ago today, on Paul Allen's birthday, Tottenham Hotspur signed a Korean player that not many, if probably a very select few, had heard of. We had signed from Bayer Leverkusen one Heung-min Son, who since then, 410 appearances for the club, 164 goals, 84 assists. Not bad for £30 million. Wouldn't you say, Nige?
Oh, what a player. I must admit, when we signed him, I was a bit like, who is this guy? Oh my God, who are we signing here? But what a fantastic player. And I didn't actually realise he had scored so many goals for Spurs. I mean, he's not that far off of, the Kanes and the like. If he was to score 30 this season, then it's not far off 200, is it?
Well, he's our joint 5th, or I think now with the goals he's taken, I think he's either standalone 5th or he's now 4th all-time goal scorer. And you look at him, he has given 9 years to this club, 9 years. And for me, I'm going to get yours, Nige, and the people in the chat, and the 161 that are here. If you look at it, I personally think for longevity and where Spurs have been since he's joined, I think the best signing that Spurs have made in the Premier League era. Now, I know people could say Klinsmann. Don't get me wrong. Klinsmann for George Openly, peak of his powers. My God, what a signing. There's a case for that. Bale, but obviously he went on to Madrid to do what he did. Then you can say Modric. But I think for the longevity and for what he's done, I would say he is probably our best Premier League signing. Where are you with that, Nigel, and people in the chat?
I think I'd agree. Yeah, I think for money that we paid for him, I think if you look at his stats over the last 9 years, apart from the first season when he struggled, I think you're looking at 20 plus GAs a season. That's every season. He's been a brilliant servant for us, and he will continue to be this year. I still think he's our best forward, and I still think he will be our top goal scorer this season.
Yep, exactly. Big up to Lord Rodney Trotter. The plonker is in the building, and people, don't worry, if you watch British comedy and you know his name, you'll know why we call each other certain names. I think if you look at, I mean, Gary mentioned something as well, and you're right, but you're wrong, Gary. I mean, I wouldn't say most of us wanted Sado Berahino, but that deal, we know how that broke down, whatever. But because of Sado Berahino falling apart, we were able to bring in Heung-min Son. And if you look back at it now, even if we had got Sadio Berahino through the door, he would nowhere near have got to the levels of Son, he certainly wouldn't have been dislodging Kane anytime soon. So you look at it. So I go as far as to say, like, have anyone else said there's a better player that we have signed during the Premier League era? Oh, there's a good one, Ethan. There is a good one. He is one. Obviously, I still have my love for Hugo, but the last few years or couple of years weren't there. But now the one I'm going to ask you, and I did this with Brian Ireland because we've taken over We Are Tottenham TV today. Favourite Sonny goal?
Oh,
and people in the chat. This could be. There's so many.
For me, it would be the goal at Wembley against West Ham.
Bingo.
Simply because we battered them that night and we went 1-0 down, and I just couldn't see us getting equal. It was one of those games where we just didn't look like we were going to score, and Sonny just smashed one in from like 25 yards. And yeah, the way he went to the West Ham fans when he scored as well, it's just beautiful.
See, now where I did this with Brian Ireland for We Are Tottenham TV, first thing he came to is Burnley. And obviously, if you think Sonny goal, I would say that is the most. But I remember that West Ham goal was, first of all, the first Tottenham goal I saw living here in Canada at the Scotland Yard. But you got to remember that game, like you said, we battered them. And West Ham scored a stunning goal that game as well. I can't remember the player who scored it, but it was an absolute banger. And then Heung-min's son, the power and velocity he hit that ball with, is like, right, everything else has not worked. I am just going to absolutely smash this one. And they could have had two goalkeepers in there. And this is the thing. Ben Kaufman has mentioned a lot of people are obviously saying Burnley. Chelsea is one, Ben Kaufman said. There's another one. You look at it, there was the goal. People, I mean, it took me a while to remember the screamer he scored in the North London derby during COVID.
Yeah.
The goal recently at the stadium he scored against Brighton. There are so many goals that we literally could have called, but he has had so many great goals. One of my nearest and dearest, Graham, is in the house. Big up to you, Graham. I hope you go. There you go. Of course, MZ, the West Ham player, fan, will remember that. Cheers, MZ. Yeah, we were battering West Ham that game. But yeah, so Sonny's got, mate, when we talk about this man, mate, he responds or he retweets a lot. He's very active on Twitter, and through that every Spurs goal, you forget just how good that man was. I loved him, but his rate of pass, when he got the ball and he was about to cross it in, you knew it was going to your man, or at least in that area. What a player. Right, let's start going through the questions. And I saw one from Gary about Hayden Hackney that we will discuss, but here we go. First of all, I saw this, and it's not a question, but you have got to look at it. Now, there's two ways of looking at it, and I'm on the and I'm never on the fence. I'm on the fence with this one. Being linked to so many quality players, you haven't got any of them. It must be embarrassing. He's right. When it comes to the Yezes that we were heavily linked with, the Gallaghers, the big players, yes, it is embarrassing that we constantly get linked for them and haven't got them. But then I start thinking, right, the club have got, or Ange said he wants this. Ange said he wants. The why I've taken this step back this summer, like I said, from transfer nonsense is I just don't know what to believe or what to think anymore with these bloody rumours. I loved it with Jurgen Klinsmann. We found out on teletext or in the paper the next day or whatever. It is really embarrassing, especially when you see deals like a Chiesa get wrapped up like that.
Yeah.
Get the value. Forget, and when I'm talking about the quality players, we're not even talking the big money. It does seem to be we are linked with all these big ones, and they don't seem to happen, or they more often than not they don't happen, do they, Nige?
No, and I don't know whether it's social media world, isn't it? Because even though we're linked with them, are we actually in for them, or is it just talk? We don't actually know what. But what made me laugh today is when I saw the link to Eze again, that Spurs may be going back in for Eze in January, and you're just like, oh, here we go again. for another 60 million. It's like, well, if we wanted him, we paid a 60 million.
Correct.
We would have paid it a few weeks ago. So why would we try again in January? It just doesn't make sense.
Correct. That's where I'm at now. When it comes to Eze, I saw that a very dear friend of mine, he's probably still in the chat. Tom shared it. So I think that's absolute bullshit. Could have been done now. To me, it's utter bullshit. Apparently, there's an echo from me. I don't know what it is. I haven't changed anything. So I apologise. Let me just say, I'm going to quickly check the comments and go out the questions. Can people hear a really bad echo with me? Just say yes or no. Because I could hear it a minute ago, but I can't now. So just let me know, guys, if you can hear an echo or not. And then I can go back to the questions. So far, no one's putting anything. So I'm hoping. Yep, we've got no. It's okay. Okay, so there we go. Not now. So I apologise for whatever it was. I don't know what it was. But let's get into the first question. The first question from Matty. People keep saying in Europe, we will play our B team, youth such as Lankshear, Moore, etc. These same people are angry at Ange for last year doing that at Fulham because Ange played a B team in the Cup. What do you think? Nige, where are you?
I want us to play our strongest teams in the Cup. I want a trophy. Like we've already discussed, and we're both kind of at that age where we've seen Spurs win trophies. I've seen us lift the FA Cup 3 times. I've seen us lift the UEFA Cup.
Yeah.
I don't want a League Cup. A League Cup's fine. I want a European trophy. I want an FA Cup. So I haven't got an issue with dropping a couple of young players, but the rest I want to see first team players. I want to be going. I'd rather us. And I saw your question yesterday when you said, would you rather finish 17th and win a cup? And where again, I wouldn't go as low. I'd say I'd happily finish 10th and win a cup. But the league for me this season, I can't get up for the league at the moment because top 4 means nothing to me. I just want to see us win a trophy. So it's all for the cups this year for me.
This is it, Matt. You know what? I'm one of the guys that went nuts at Fulham. I was there. I had to sit there and watch that live. And the main thing I was at is that he didn't play enough of the first team players to take this cup seriously, because I honestly thought this season with 1 game a week, we would take the cup seriously. I really thought we would. A lot of people came back at me and I took a lot of slack for going, this is bloody, I don't know if it's Ange, if it's Levy. And I took a lot of slack for it, whether I was right or wrong. But this season, you look at it, it's now 4 cup competitions. And I would say that some of these youth players are better than some of the first teamers that played against Fulham. I really would. And I think Poch used to do it, and I'm using Poch because I remember him doing it a lot. When we're playing Europa League Thursday, he would do this because he was more concerned about the Premier League. Because at that time, we were genuinely contending. We're not contending for the league this year. Anyone that thinks we're actually genuinely contending for the league is wrong. But Lankshear and Moore, I think, can do a job, especially in the 8 games in the Europa. I wouldn't want to play them in a one-off cup game and say, right, play them all, because it's 1 game, you're out. There's a mix. You could play 3 of them, let's say 4, whatever, and then have 7, and then you rotate it round every round. So the ones that are rested are in the next round. I think the Europa League, Matty, is where I wouldn't be downbeat if I saw a Bergvall, a Gray, a Lankshear, a Moore start, but the rest were first teamers. I don't know what other people. I said I can't see the comments where you're commenting now. So
this is why it's really important that we buy another centre half.
Exactly.
In the next 2 days, because we can't be playing Van der Ven in Europe. He needs a rest at some point, so we can't, flog him to death and just keep playing him. So we do need cover.
There we go. So we're going to the next question, and it's from Ethan. Big up to you, Ethan. With the signings of Odebear and Yang in January, on top of the wingers we have, where is the pop? That's a great question for Mikey. It's a great question. Where do you see it?
Well, if he's as good as everyone says he is, and I've not seen too much of him, I saw clips.
Yeah.
Then he should be getting his chance. For me, Yang, I don't think we're going to see him until next season. I know he's coming in January,
Yeah.
but he's coming from Korea. He's got a settle to a new country, a new culture. I don't think he's going to be coming in and playing football. I think he'll come in with the squad and like I say, get adapted to the country and the culture. And I think we'll probably see him next year. I think if Mikey Moore's as good as everyone's saying it is, I think he will get his chances this year.
Yeah, I think with Mikey Moore, personally, he will smash the roadblocks down. He'll be like, I think, and I'm not saying this to compare him with Harry Kane. Harry Kane got his opportunity against Aston Villa, scored that deflected free kick, bang, it was a no-brainer. And it was like, it doesn't matter if you got Soldado, Adebayor, whoever it is, you're our guy. Mikey Moore's just 17 years old. I know Odebear played 2 years older. I think Mikey Moore smashes down the barriers. And what you've also got to remember, Ethan, is whether we like to admit it or not, Heung-min's son won't be around forever. He's 32 now, I believe, 32. So a year or two, I can't see Sonny being here at 34, 35. As much as who knows what he could do in the next couple of seasons. And if he is, I don't see him being able to play first team every single week. So I think there's a pathway for him. I think Brennan Johnson, and I'm a fan of his, or I say a fan of his, I stand up for him. I'm giving him a bit more time. I'm giving it till January to see what happens. We'll see what goes there. I can hear that slight echo back, and I don't know why it's coming in. So I apologise, guys. I think Mikey Moore is just going to smash those roadblocks down. But we'll move on to the next question. Great question, Ethan. Shorty Slater, who would you like in the Carabao Cup? An easy draw, a bit more of a challenge.
Oh, easy. I want us to have easy teams all the way through to the final and then get an easy team in the final, please. That would be lovely. Let everyone else play Man City and Arsenal, and hopefully they can knock each other out and we just go under the radar and get to the final.
Yeah, listen, there's that. Obviously, there's that now. There's the news that broke that we can't get drawn against any of the teams in Europe, but we can still get Chelsea. We can still get some of these big teams. I want to see Spurs get as far as the Cups as possible. Do you know what it is? I don't know what I want, Sean. If we get a bigger club, I think Ange will be forced to go full team. But if we get a team in the lower league or Championship or League One, or if there's any League Two teams still in it, then I think he's going to tinker. And then does he do the right tinkering? We'll have to wait and see. So I might be inclined to get, say, a harder draw. I might be able to, and then you eliminate one of the teams. But who knows? When the draw comes in and I do it on We Are Tottenham TV and I see we get a Chelsea or a Premier League team, I'll probably go, oh, for God's sake. So I don't know. Matty, again, this is more of a... I'll ask this question to people. If there is to be, and I maybe he is one, if there is a Spurs transfer outgoing, out of the blue, who do you think it will be? You're with me, Nige, aren't you? You're Richarlison.
Yeah.
And like I said, guys, go on, Nige, sorry.
I'd be gutted if Bentancur left. He's my favourite player. I'd be absolutely gutted.
So I mean, Bentancur could be one. I mean, I don't want him to go. I don't want him to go. I think if we can get him back to his form, he's a terrific player. So, Brendan, let's see. Kuti to PSG. Yeah, I don't see that happening. Please, God, no. Please, God, no. That is, I think if Kuti Romero left right now, especially with our lack of centre backs, I can only imagine what would go on. But Bentancur's not a bad shout, but I can't see it. I can only see it being Richarlison. Another one from A. Romero suspended, Van de Ven injured. We are playing with Dragusin and Davies. Nige talked about this in a recent video. We have a big problem when they are out and urgently need a left centre-back by Friday. Embellishing it a bit more, Nige.
Yeah, like I say, if Romero's suspended or even injured and Van de Ven's injured, we are left with Dragusin and Davies as our centre-halves, which is not the best. But the concern is after that, we haven't then got a centre half on the bench because Dorrington is still injured, I believe. Has never played a first team minute, really. So we've got nothing then on the bench. So it is imperative that we sign a centre half by Friday and a left-sided centre half. If we don't, it's going to be an interesting season if we don't.
Yeah, it really is. And this is what we've got to look out. These are things that could happen. Very unlikely that we have it that both, or you say very unlikely, it happened last season. So we'll wait and see. I will say we've got another super chat in from Matty. Thank you very much indeed, buddy. Big up Brian Nige. Great guest, by the way. Comedy Spurs, Tottenham till I die. Big up Matty, a great supporter of the channel. Ring Ketic. I know he is another right-footed centre-back, but would you be happy if Levy went to spend 60 million on Simikan? Big and strong. He wants to leave because ain't being played as a centre-back or ain't being played as a centre-back at, I don't know, right back, what, I don't know that lot. But I don't know anything on this guy, Rinketic. Do you know anything about this player, Nige?
Not a great deal. I've seen him play a few times. He's a good player, but again, he's right-footed. And as much as, he might be good, we just need a left-footed centre-half.
That's
thing. Why I was all over us going for, who was a Palace defender that went to Fulham?
Anderson. Joachim Anderson.
Isn't he left-footed?
Yes, he is.
I really wanted us to get him because I think he's a top defender.
He's actually who I thought would have been, back in the day, the natural successor to Jan Vertonghen. I thought he's like maybe not nowhere near the quality, in fact, but like for like the same kind of player profile, the same kind of attributes. And I found it strange that he's actually gone back to Fulham. I don't know if it was, who knows why, but I can't really comment on Rinketic because I don't know enough about him. But Tottenham till I die forever. As we're worried Bentancur gets sanctioned for a few games, as Darwin Núñez just got 5 games for his part, are we worried? Yeah. Nigel, after you, are you worried that there could be a Premier League? Well, also we have to remember we're not getting into the whole ordeal. I don't know if there's still any blowback from what happened in the summer with Bentancur and the Premier League looking at it. So, does it concern you that Bentancur could?
I wasn't until I just saw the question. I don't think so. I think he's got his ban now. I don't really think the Premier League are going to get involved. But I mean, if they did and he got a ban, it would sum it up. Then we're relying on youngsters again. But hopefully,
it's funny Darwin Núñez got mentioned. So I don't know if people have seen this kind of out there transfer rumour mentioned. But I actually see it happening. I haven't heard anything about it personally. But if there was a bolt out of the blue transfer in the Premier League to happen, keep an eye on Núñez to Arsenal. Keep an eye on Núñez to Arsenal. I heard a couple of bits, then I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, wait a minute, it's one of those that seem to be gathering. Whether it's a good, I mean, listen, we said when Chelsea Arsenal side Havertz, everyone thought what a flop, but for them, he's done exceedingly well. Darwin Núñez, if I had to choose a Premier League bolted out of the blue transfer between two teams, I'm saying Darwin Núñez to Arsenal. If there was to be an out of the blue Premier League transfer, what would you think, Nige?
What would I like? I would like Grealish to Tottenham, but don't think that's going to happen somehow.
Yeah, for me, I'm still holding my breath on Morgan Gibbs-White to Tottenham.
Oh yeah.
That's one I'm not letting this one go because I really do admire that player. I think he could do well. I really do. Where are you, Gibbs-White?
I love Morgan Gibbs-White. I would quite happily offer Forest Johnson for Morgan Gibbs-White. A bit of money as well, but let him go back to Forest because I think he did great at Forest. So I think he's their kind of player, counter-attacking. But Morgan Gibbs-White is brilliant.
Well, let's hope people are listening, and if that happens, you heard it here first. It was me and Nige. Next question, Edise. It is on at 9:45 p.m. UK time, there or thereabouts. That's where it's scheduled for. I will be with Ben Kaufman on We Are Tottenham TV doing the live draw watch along. So it will be 9:45 p.m. UK time. Colin Crossamano. Out of curiosity, am I the only one in our community that has seen us win the title? Just to make me feel older than I am. Right. People in the comments, Colin Crossamano needs to know, is he the only one that finally or has seen the glory of winning the league, Tottenham Hotspur winning the league? I think you might be. I'd be surprised if there are people that will say yes to it, but hopefully ask us that question in about 10 years and we will say, yes, you're not, or sorry, no, you're not the only one. But yeah, I don't think there'll be many that would say, Tweaky has said not even close. My parents did as well, mate, David. My parents did as well. Yeah, I think you might be on your own, Mr. Crossamano. We have two more questions left. Or one is a comment. Are we still keeping our eyes on Hayden Hackney? Gary, you and I have spoken about this before in private message. I think that if there's a player in the Championship to get, it's this guy. And I would not be opposed to us getting him and loaning him back to Borough for the season. But not to be, okay, we've got our midfielder in. I think we all know, we've seen with Wharton and other players, there are real talent in the Championship. And for me, I would say the cream of the crop for youngsters in the Championship is this guy right here. Nige, where are you with Hayden Hackney?
Yeah, I really like him. I think he's a good player. He plays 6 as well, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd be quite happy if we sold him and load him back, but not at the expense of bringing another couple of players in that we need right now.
There we go. That's exactly. And the final question. Why did our amazing scouting team let Chiesa go for 10 million to Liverpool? A user, we actually spoke of this right at the beginning. Nigel, you go first, and then I'll wrap it up with this one.
Yeah, I'm like I said at the start of the show. I'm livid that we didn't get this man in. I'm not saying he's the answer, but he is better bar sunny than what we have up there. And for 10 million is an absolute no-brainer. It is a win-win. If he's rubbish, we sell him back to Italy in a couple of years for 10 million. If he's brilliant, we can sell him on for 50, 60 million, exactly like Levy likes to do. I'm amazed that Levy hasn't been all over this. And I think he is probably absolutely gutted tonight that he's missed out.
Well, there you go. I mean, first of all, Gary reckons Locatelli could come in. And then if Locatelli is more what we need right now, especially positional-wise. But yeah, I've said the time to have got him would have been pre-Werner. That would have been the one to do. And obviously, we were told it all. We were led to believe 25 million. And obviously, he's gone for a lot less for Liverpool. And I just think he's not. If this was the player that was at the Euros and helped Italy win it, then I think I'd be a lot more passionate or outraged at the signing. But we've got so many bloody wingers. Yes, they're not probably at the quality that everyone deems. Do you know what you can say our central defence, the 3 we've got. Yes, we need one more, but you'd say that 3 are of a very high standard. When it comes to our wingers, you can't say the same, but there are so many of them. We aren't getting rid of any of them before the end of the window. So I would have wanted him before Werner. Go on, Nige.
Yeah, and just to say, because I've seen some things in the chat, if it's a question of Liverpool or Tottenham, you're picking Liverpool every time. But we could have gone for him before Liverpool were interested.
Yeah.
Obviously, once it comes into competition, we ain't getting anywhere near him.
Exactly. So, guys, listen, that's going to wrap up today's evening brews. I first of all, once again, want to say, Nige, thanks for coming on. And whilst I share your link to your brand new channel that's you've just recently started, tell people how long you've been going and what you plan to be doing on the channel.
Yeah, so I've been going a couple of weeks. I've been watching YouTube for years and always wanted to join in. So I thought, well, I've got no one to talk about football to at home, so I will bore people on YouTube with my opinion. So I started a channel a couple of weeks ago, mainly at the moment just doing like preview shows, preview like videos and then reaction videos after games. I will be starting to do live videos. I will have a weekly show with my son when he isn't with his girlfriend. And I will be looking to start a new show in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, while we get in lots of the YouTube community, the YouTubers to come on and talk about their Tottenham experience, how it all started, when they start supporting Spurs, first games, favourite players, etc. And then obviously talking Tottenham now.
There you go. And Nige, listen, it's been great having you on. We'll definitely obviously have you on again. If you ever need any of us from Tottenham on Tour, we will be more than happy to come and support your great channel. And it's what it's about, people. If you want to become a guest on an Evening Brews with me, reach out to me on social media. One of the people that will be coming on with me recently is a guy you see regularly in the chat by the name of Rico Beans. There's going to be people, if you want to come on and have your say, whether it's about, and remember, this is about the news of the day. Obviously, we get a lot quieter during or once the window's shut until it gets back up and running again. But if you want to, reach out to me on social media personally, if you do, or reach out to our channel social media accounts as well, and we will get you on. Everyone, have a fantastic evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Do us a favour, like, comment, share, subscribe, and as always, Levy out. Tottenham Tour.